celebrating 12 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Cindy McConkey.
Welcome to another edition of Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill. Where's the table? We normally have a big oak table, but now we have a set, and it's courtesy of our friends at Nouveau Classic. So welcome to, I guess, my living room, kind of. This is another edition of Anything is Possible. Great stories about great people whose lives prove that anything is possible. And my guest today is my friend. I've been looking forward to this, Cindy McConkey. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Hal. It's great to be here.
It's great to see you too. Let's start here. You start as a journalist, and you make a lot of noise early in your career. You're 21, 22 years old, and you are a sports writer, and I did not know that in the SEC, you were the first female reporter allowed into a male locker room.
Well, yes. I wasn't allowed into many, though, because very early on, the SEC started changing its rules, and they did not want a woman in the locker room. Some of the schools felt like it compromised their young men in that these were 18, 19-year-old kids that their moms had sent off to school,
right. And
the school was supposed to protect them from me. So the noise was made when, frankly, most of the schools were very good about just bringing the athletes out for me to interview. And what occurred was Tony Robinson, who was Tennessee's star quarterback and actually was in the running for the Heisman Trophy that year, and he was injured. And so I could not go into the training room to interview him, and he could not come out to be interviewed, and suddenly I couldn't do my job. And so the publisher of the paper, the editor of the paper, determined that we needed to file for equal access. And so the story began. I think that may be the last time I was in front of the camera.
Really?
Was when I was 23, 24 years old, and I became the story instead of the sports and
So
the
do
athletes.
you remember the first time you walked into a men's locker room?
Yeah.
What was it like?
I grew up around athletics, and I had 3 older brothers, so our house was a men's locker room, quite frankly. And it was it was like a men's locker room, like you would expect it to be. The athletes were there, and for the most part, the athletes wanted to get an interview. They wanted their moment of fame, and they were very polite and very nice and very humble and sometimes braggadocious, but never out of line. I mean, I had moments really in the pro ranks when I was at USA Today that it was a little rougher.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you said most of the time, and then you said a little rougher, and that is a wonderful way to sandpaper the edges off of the reality of what that was like.
Yes.
What was that like?
Well, the pros obviously were a different game, and the pros were just learning how to deal with women in sports as well. Most of the women in sports were in broadcasting. They weren't in print, and so they didn't go into the locker room. Broadcast cameras didn't go into the locker room too often anyway. And so I would call ahead, and I would let them know I was coming, and I would let them know that I am a woman, and what's their policy. And they mostly didn't have a policy, and they said, well, come up with one before you get here. And for the most part, they would bring the athletes out to me. Some of them said, come on in, it didn't matter. And so I did. And again, the professionals who you were there to interview were very professional, and it all went well. It was the guys you didn't care about interviewing who caused the trouble.
What trouble?
Oh, lewd remarks and lewd gestures. And you just ignore it, or else you snap something back at them and they leave you alone.
Were you...
You keep your eyes up. You walk with your eyes up. Keep your head high.
Were you harassed?
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the early, mid-1980s, yes.
Did you ever feel like filing any lawsuits related to that, or did you just go, this is the price I have to pay, which is very unfair, by the way?
I was, again, the youngest of 6 kids. I had 3 big brothers. I played sports with my 3 big brothers and their friends, and harassment, not necessarily sexual harassment, but harassment was a way of life. I mean, it's a way of sports. I mean, you give and you get, and jaw with each other, and I didn't think a lot of it, quite frankly. And I never tried to use my sex, my gender, as an excuse or as a weapon. I just saw it as who I am, and maybe another reporter could chum up with the players or the coaches, and that was his advantage. Well, my advantage was they trusted me. I was a little softer. These guys, for the most part, the people they trusted most in their lives were their mothers or their girlfriends, and they trusted me. And so I would get different stories out of them because that was my advantage.
So you made good of it.
Yeah, it wasn't a battle or something to overcome. It was what it was at the time. And I'm grateful, and I'm sure that the women in the sports world now are very grateful that things have changed. But I never tried to make a big deal out of it. I tried to deal with it ahead of time so it wasn't a big deal.
Right.
I was just there to do a job.
Cindy McConkey is my guest. You're watching Anything is Possible. Wait until you hear the rest of this story.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
I just have confidence. I'm not saying I have confidence I'm going to conquer the cancer, but I have confidence. It's all going to be good.
Welcome back to Anything is Possible. My possibility superstar today is Cindy McConkey. Thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to be here.
First female in the locker rooms in the SEC. You go on to work for USA Today. You were an athlete, though. We didn't talk about that.
A little bit of one, yeah.
Yeah, tell me about the sports you played and where you played them.
Oh, I was of the high school variety, and but really right as Title IX was starting to come about, and I played basketball and softball, and I ran track, and those were my primary sports. Played a little tennis, but was not very good.
So step me through your career quickly. You start out as a sports writer. You here in the SEC, then you move to USA Today. Kind of walk me through your career.
Well, you've got the first two steps, and so I was living in D.C. and working with USA Today, and that was a blast. I just really had a good time doing that, but I was separated from my husband. My husband was living here in Knoxville, and I was living in Washington, D.C., and that's not a great way to have a marriage, and it's really a tough way to have kids. Wow. And so when we decided that we were probably ready to start a family, I came back to Knoxville, and I made the choice to make a career change and shifted into public relations. And I became a PR and marketing consultant at that point, and which was another great learning opportunity because I actually got to learn a lot about business and a lot of different kinds of businesses because the firm I worked with was a generalist firm, and so I would work with developers and bankers and hospitals and chemical companies, and but I was able to put my reporting skills to use in that and my communication skills. So I've really made my living communicating like you. Like
me.
Yeah.
A little bit better though. How'd you end up at Scripps?
I would say it's luck or coincidence, but I don't think things are luck or coincidence. I think it was really a divine opportunity for me. I was in Leadership Knoxville, and Ken Lowe, who was the founder of HGTV, which ultimately became Scripps Networks, was in my Leadership Knoxville class. And so if people ever wonder how valuable some of these moments are, this one was incredibly valuable to me. And so I got to know Ken, and I really started courting Ken and Scripps Networks as a client because I was a PR consultant. And at the end of the day, Ken said, yeah, we want to hire you, but we want to hire you. And I actually turned him down at that time and stayed with the agency. And then a few years later, Ken and I talked again, and he said, are you ready? And I said, I'm ready. I'm ready now. And that has just been a great kind of next step for me in my career, and even more so, it's been a great provision for my life and the challenges that I was going to face in the future that I didn't know.
You didn't know. See, all the years that I've known you, you just seem to have it all together. And we were going to do this interview a year ago.
Yes.
And it didn't happen.
Right.
and your world was, I don't want to say unraveling because you live with such hope and possibility, but you weren't letting on to anybody what was going on with you, really, because you are tough.
Well,
You're tough. And when you told me that you were battling cancer, that was the last thing I expected to hear.
well, I actually, a year ago, was not aware of it when you and I spoke. And I think the reason why I didn't do the show then, Hal, was because as the head of corporate communications at a company like Scripps, I've always felt my job is not to put me in the limelight.
Yeah.
My job is to put our talent and our shows and our executives and our stars in the limelight. And that's really what I've believed was my role all along as a consultant, and then for 12 years at Scripps as I headed up corporate communications. And in fact, my team, they used to joke because I don't let them enter competitions. I told them that us winning awards in corporate communications did nothing to move the business forward. The awards we would enter because it moved the business forward. And so that's why I actually didn't do the show a year ago. I found out in August of last year, of 2013, that something was amiss.
How'd you find out?
Oh, again, divine intervention. I'm healthy. I'm working out. I eat well. I hike. And one day I didn't feel well, and long story short, I had what appeared to be a gallbladder attack, classic gallbladder symptoms. And I did not go to the emergency room. I toughed it out and made an appointment for the next week with my GI. He ran some tests and he said, nothing's wrong with your gallbladder, but your liver's inflamed and something's going on there. Series of tests and scans, and we find out that I have an uncommon form of biliary liver cancer. And had I gone in for gallbladder surgery, gone into the emergency room, they might not have ever known I had cancer, or at least not at that moment.
What stage are you?
They have trouble staging it, Hal, because it's a 5-inch tumor, so it's a pretty large tumor, but I'd show no symptoms. I have no jaundice. My liver's functioning pretty well, and it hasn't spread. It's still contained within the liver. So I'm somewhere between a 2 and a 3, and it really doesn't matter.
Why would you say that?
Because it wouldn't matter if it was a 1 or a 4. I am where I am in this, and my faith is in God that I will walk the path that He puts before me, and He's going to provide the strength and the other provisions I need to do this. So it really doesn't matter. I mean, He has shown me so many times once the diagnosis came that He was in this with me, and that He has already walked the path ahead of me, and He is walking alongside me now, that I just have confidence. I'm not saying I have confidence I'm going to conquer the cancer, but I have confidence. It's all going to be good.
I'm not saying I have confidence that I'm going to conquer the cancer, but I have confidence.
Well, Hal, our prayers get answered in ways we don't expect sometimes, and I've always been a believer. As long as I can remember, I was a believer. My mom loaded the 6 kids into the station wagon and trudged us off to church every Sunday morning, and but I think I was a passive believer, and by that I mean that I prayed and I sat back and I waited for God to come to me. And in the last few years, I have become a much more active believer. I have been seeking God. I have been chasing Him. And January of 2013, I started a new devotional, and I was doing it daily, Jesus Calling. And it was given to me by a friend whom I had brought to my Monday night Bible study, and she had given it to me as a thank you. And that study is really all about finding peace through God and Jesus Christ, your Savior. And my prayer became my consistent prayer. I had 2 of them. And my consistent prayers, starting in January a year ago, were that I would come to have a more intimate relationship with God, and that my husband Gary and I, who are now empty nesters, our girls are off, one's in New York and one's in Louisville, that Gary and I would draw closer together again with God at the center. And there's nothing like a little bit of cancer to make those 2 things come true. And God answered my prayers, and I truly recognized that. And I didn't get angry, and I mean, obviously I was upset. You're upset when you hear the C word, but I didn't get angry, and I didn't fall apart, and I think I recognized it as an answer to those 2 prayers.
We've got to talk about those 2 prayers. My guest is Cindy McConkey. You're watching Anything is Possible.
Coming up,
I don't have tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. Next week's not guaranteed. And you say you know that. Well, I really know that.
This week, our Home Federal Bank Community Spotlight is on Shangri-La Therapeutic Academy of Riding, or STAR. STAR pairs children and adults with disabilities with horses to help the riders experience personal achievement. To learn more or see how you can get involved, visit rideatstar.org.
Welcome back to Anything is Possible. So you mentioned 2 prayers. You said more intimacy with God and more God-centered intimacy with your husband.
Right.
I'm looking for a missing prayer. Heal me of this cancer. But you didn't say that.
Well, once I was diagnosed with cancer, and people asked what they could pray for me. And they wanted to pray for the healing, or they wanted to pray for the doctors. And the thing I would ask them to pray for is strength of faith. I do want to be healed, and please, everybody out there, pray for my healing. But what I really need is strength of faith so that I can face whatever comes next, and so that I can do it in a way that glorifies God, and that I can withstand it, and my family can withstand it.
Is that different for you? Is that kind of faith different for you? Is that a different possibility to pursue?
Yes.
Because you're corporate, you're a competitor, and you're a tough lady, and you get it done,
I'm
and you're known for being
things.
tough.
I am known for being tough, but you know what? All that just peels away when you're in a life-changing moment like this. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of tough people who've died from cancer, or a lot of tough people who have let other obstacles overcome them. And you wonder how could this person cave in? And I wonder how someone can go through a crisis like this, or a trial like this, without a strong faith. And I know some people who have. I'm not sure how they did.
Yeah, I don't know how.
I couldn't. I certainly couldn't.
Have you been told how long you have to live?
No. This is an uncommon cancer, and they don't really see it that often. I have been told that it can be very aggressive. The word they use is nasty, very nasty cancer, and that 18 months, if it doesn't respond to the treatment, would be expected. But it has shown some response to the treatment, and I'm in a clinical trial, and that's a fairly new clinical trial, so we'll see. But on the point of pride, it's I try to look good because I want people to know that I'm getting through it and God's seeing me through it.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm trying to do it without vanity, and that's a tough thing to do.
That really struck me, that you were that transparent and that honest. But you just blew by something, Cindy. You said 18 months if it doesn't, and you moved right on.
Well, do you know you're going to be here tomorrow?
No, I don't.
I don't know.
But I don't.
None of these guys know they're going to be here
But I don't
tomorrow.
have to have the conversation with my husband or my son and my daughter and say, here's a real world possibility. I mean, your faith allows you to push forward, but the reason I was so moved by my conversation with you, and the possibility embedded in that conversation was you really don't know, but you really have to be prepared for all of it. And I don't know how you're keeping your faith out in front of your fear, and I don't know what you tell your daughters and your husband, because your gig could be up.
I'm not afraid, first of all. And
But you've got to take me to how you can sit here and say that with so, I mean, your posture is good as you're saying that. When you said it just then, you sat up and you leaned forward and you said, I'm not afraid.
I think it's because I'm blessed by the knowledge that you say you know, that I don't have tomorrow. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, next week's not guaranteed. And you say you know that. Well, I really know that. And that's a blessing. It's a perspective that I have gained that most people don't have.
Thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me share this. It's
What do you want everybody to know?
it's a story of hope, I think. I have always been that tough girl. I was that tomboy. I was that kid that could play ball. I was strong. I could hike 14 miles in a day. I could do all these things, but I really have not become strong until I was faced with this trial. And now my strength is in Christ. I guess that's it.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Anything is Possible.